There was a time when Nokia wasn't just a phone, it was the phone brand. Everyone from school kids to businessmen proudly held a Nokia in their hands. It was simple, strong, and dependable. But in less than a decade, Nokia went from being the king of the mobile world to a company struggling to stay relevant. What caused this dramatic shift? How did the Titan fall? And more importantly, what can we learn from it? And why this story is one of the most valuable lessons in the history of business. And when they got it right, they didn't just participate, they dominated. Believe it or not, Nokia didn't start out making phones. The company was founded in 1865 in Finland and originally focused on paper products. Later, it expanded into rubber, cables, and electronics. It wasn't until the 1980s and 1990s that Nokia fully stepped into telecommunications. And when it did, it moved fast. Nokia became a leader in mobile phones during the 1990s, especially after introducing the Nokia 1011, the world's first mass-produced GSM phone. The rise of Nokia wasn't just about good timing. It had vision, speed, and engineering excellence. The company focused on quality and simplicity, which people loved. By the early 2000s, Nokia was selling millions of phones and shaping the future of mobile communication. But while they were enjoying their golden age, something big was brewing in the background. During its golden years, Nokia was untouchable. From the classic 3310 to the stylish Nokia N series, the company understood what people wanted: durable phones, long battery life, and easy-to-use features. Nokia was on top of the world, controlling around 40% of the global mobile phone market at its peak. Even in developing countries, Nokia became a household name. People trusted the brand. It worked in extreme climates, survived drops, and lasted for days on a single charge. While other companies struggled, Nokia kept winning. This success made Nokia one of the most valuable brands in the world. It became a symbol of quality, and its dominance was unmatched. Similar to how the rise and fall of Kodak reminds us how even the biggest brands can become too comfortable, Nokia's success would soon become its blind spot. And the thing they held on to the longest? That became their biggest burden. While Nokia was busy perfecting its feature phones, Apple and Google were planning something that would change everything. In 2007, Apple launched the iPhone. In 2008, Android hit the market. These weren't just phones. They were tiny computers in your pocket. Nokia, however, didn't see the threat clearly. They continued to focus on hardware and Symbian OS, their in-house operating system, which was outdated and clunky compared to the sleek experience offered by iOS and Android. Nokia had the resources to compete, but it underestimated how fast the market would shift. The problems weren't just technical, they were also at the top. Symbian had been Nokia's software backbone for years, but it wasn't ready for the smartphone age. While iOS and Android offered touch-friendly, fast and intuitive systems, Symbian lagged behind. App developers avoided it, and users grew frustrated. Instead of pivoting quickly, Nokia kept trying to fix Symbian. It was a case of holding on to the past instead of adapting to the future. And in tech, slow decisions often lead to fast falls. This is a lesson in the fall of startups and large companies alike. Don't cling to what used to work when the world is changing around you. Internal confusion and leadership gaps. Another issue was Nokia's leadership. As the mobile world transformed, Nokia's top executives didn't agree on how to respond. Should they stick with Symbian, build their own OS from scratch, or go with Android? No one seemed sure. The lack of clear vision made things worse. Departments inside Nokia worked in silos. Decision-making slowed down and innovation dried up. For a company that once moved fast and led with confidence, this was a huge shift. And then came the moment that many called the biggest missed opportunity in tech history. One of the biggest what-ifs in tech history is Nokia's decision to not adopt Android. Google reportedly approached Nokia with the Android platform before it became mainstream. But Nokia said no. They believed they could win with their own system. Unfortunately, this decision allowed Samsung, HTC, and others to dominate the Android space while Nokia watched from the sidelines. By the time they realized the mistake, it was too late. This moment is often studied in the Nokia and Microsoft case study, where we see how rejecting a new platform can close the door on massive future opportunities. So when Android was no longer an option, they bet everything on a different partner. In 2011, Nokia finally made a bold move. It partnered with Microsoft. The idea was to ditch Symbian and start building phones with the Windows Phone operating system. This was a huge gamble. The Nokia and Microsoft merger case study became one of the most talked about tech deals of the decade. At first, it looked like a fresh start. The phones were beautiful, and the hardware was excellent. But Windows Phone never gained enough users or developer support. People wanted apps like Instagram, YouTube, and WhatsApp, and they didn't work well or at all on Windows. Looking back, this fall wasn't entirely unique. Others had walked the same path. In many ways, Nokia's fall mirrored the rise and fall of Motorola. Both companies were leaders in mobile tech, both had loyal customers, and both failed to respond quickly to a changing market. The fall of Motorola was due to similar problems: clinging to past success, missing key software changes, and failing to innovate at the right time. These cases show how even powerful tech companies can lose their edge when they stop listening to the market. But unlike some brands that disappear completely, Nokia found a way back. Here's the surprising part: Nokia didn't die. In fact, the brand is still alive, just not in the same way. In 2016, a company called HMD Global, run by former Nokia executives, bought the rights to the Nokia name and began producing Android smartphones under that name. This move marked the comeback of Nokia. They began releasing mid-range and budget-friendly phones with a clean Android experience and strong build quality. While they're no longer the leader, Nokia has found a second life. This resurgence of Nokia shows that with the right strategy and understanding of market needs, a fallen brand can still stand back up. And through it all, the biggest lesson still stands tall. At the heart of Nokia's story is a simple truth: success can be dangerous if it makes you ignore change. Nokia didn't fall because it lacked talent or resources. It fell because it was too confident that its old formula would keep working. The mobile world changed. Consumers wanted something new, and while other companies took risks and evolved, Nokia stayed still for too long. This story is more than just about phones. It's a lesson that applies to any business, big or small. Whether it's the rise and fall of brands, the fall of startups, or the rise and fall of Kodak, the pattern is clear: adapt or lose relevance. The rise and fall of Nokia isn't just a business case study. It's a warning, a guide, and oddly, a little hopeful too. Because even after losing everything, the rebirth of Nokia reminds us that second chances are possible. The brand may never reach its old heights again, but it's still here, learning from its past. If you found this story helpful or interesting, make sure to hit that like button, share it with someone who loves tech history, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more content on the rise and fall of companies that changed the world.